Howdy gang, and welcome back to Pool School. In today's hopefully short episode, I'm going to teach you what you should never do to drain your pool water. Okay? What do you say we jump right in? Alrighty folks, welcome back. Before we go any further, just want to remind you to like this video. If you do, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, and please share this channel with your friends who own pools. Anyway, I am doing this video as a direct response to an email I got from a very desperate subscriber who decided they were told by a particular pool supply company in their local area that they needed to drain their pool water, and so they decided they were going to drain it and ended up doing some serious damage to their pool. And so I thought I better talk about really quickly how not to drain your pool water. Now I'm going to do a video on draining your pool and refilling it in the not too distant future, okay? Even though I don't do that anymore, I know about how to do it. Anyway, this one is about how not to do it, okay? So, first of all, number one, please, 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 don't always go with what a pool supply company or store says to you. Not that they're all bad, I'm not saying that at all, so if any of you own a pool supply store, don't get upset with me. But I do know that even though there are people there who do know what they're doing, there's a lot of people that work there that don't, and they upsell and things like that. So like I said, it just is the nature of the beast, and that's been in my experience and the experience of my clients. So I'm just going with what the experience says. So anyway, with that said, there are really two main ways to tell whether or not you need to drain and change your water, okay? I would suggest you watch my 3 videos. I have a video on changing your water, why and when. I also have a video on cyanuric acid and what you need to know about it. And I have a video on total dissolved solids, okay? Those 3 videos I'm gonna put links to in the description of this video so you can watch them. If you have not watched them, please do so, because that will tell you when you should change your water and why, okay? Now, let's say for whatever reason you have determined after watching those videos or after really being convinced that you need to change your water, you decide that you're going to do it. There's really one smart way to do it. I personally suggest hiring somebody to do it, somebody who's licensed, insured, and bonded, because they can come out and do it. They'll drain it overnight, they'll come back, refill it the very next morning, and they'll usually include the startup chemicals, which saves you a lot of hassle. So that's my suggestion. But like I said, if you want to do it yourself, I'm going to have a video on that shortly. But in this case, you've determined that you need to drain your pool, so I'm going to show you how you should never, ever try to drain your pool. All right? Alrighty, so I am at one of my clients' pools, and this is my client's pig. And you believe it or not, this pig is so sweet, huh, baby? Say hi to all my subscribers. Say hi. Okay, she's saying hi. All right, anyway, so this is one of my client's pools, and it's a perfect example because I can show you the 2 ways you should never try to drain your pool. Number 1, some people try to drain their pool by using the backwash feature of their pool. So if you have a DE filter or a sand filter, sometimes people decide, I'm going to try to use the backwash feature of my pool and just backwash it and drain the pool. Here's the problem. If you understand the suction side of your pool, the suction side of your pool has usually 2 places it sucks. The skimmer, which is that opening right there, or if you have a vacuum that's dedicated, that line there, okay? That's the suction side of your pool. Now there are diverters that help drain from the floor drains, but I don't recommend even relying on those, okay? Here's the deal. Once water gets below the level of whatever the source of your suction is, your pump is going to run dry. Now, why is that a problem? Well, remember, I'm going to walk back here for a second. Let me turn this off, and I'm going to join you back at the pump. All right, this is that same pool. This is my client's pool equipment back here, and he has a DE filter. So again, if you did this wrong, you could be tempted to backwash your pool in order to drain it, all right? Okay, remember what I said. The water, once it drops below the level of the suction area, whether it's a skimmer or the vacuum line. Now notice, you can turn the suction to the skimmer off with that valve right there and just use the vacuum line. But again, as I showed you in that earlier, that line that plugs into the wall goes about halfway down the wall. It's still not going to get the pool completely drained. All right. So what's going to happen is once the water level drops below that level that's where the suction's coming from, this pump is going to run dry. Now remember this, your equipment, your pump is liquid cooled, and guess what the liquid is that cools it? Yes, you guessed it, water. So once that pool water goes below the level of the suction area, whether it's a skimmer or the dedicated vacuum line, your pump will start to run dry, which means that pump is going to overheat, which could cause all kinds of problems. It could melt the actual pump housing. I've seen that happen. Can melt the lid, which ruins it. Obviously, melting the pump housing ruins it too. It can melt the area around the motor, which means you've wrecked your motor. It can melt the basket inside. Can also create scalding hot water that can cause severe burns should you open it. I've seen that happen as well. So you can do substantial damage to your pool equipment by running your pump dry. So this is why I say the two ways you should never try to drain your pool is by either sucking from the skimmer, which is this, right? Is the water level. Once it dips below that opening, you're done. Or the dedicated vacuum line, all right? Because once it dips below that level, you're gonna run your pump dry. Now, there are people who say, well, I just take my vacuum, stick it in the middle of the pool, and then just suck from there, all right? Well, theoretically, that might work, but your vacuum is usually a random vacuum. So it moves around the pool. So it's gonna, once it gets low, it's gonna start crawling out of the pool, and you're gonna suck air into your pump again and risk ruining it, all right? Also, your pump was not made to drain pools. It was not meant to pump water out of the pools at that amount, okay? This pool is probably 18,000 gallons, at least, maybe 20,000. You're pumping 20,000 gallons out of your pool, and you're running the pump way too much, all right? So it's still, again, not a good reason, not a good suggestion to drain your pool that way, okay? Okay, so you might ask me, well, Kenny, then what is the best way to drain your pool? There's really only one way I know. If you're not willing to hire a professional to do it for you, which I think is the best because they can come out and do it, drain it, they drain it overnight, refill it, and they usually include startup chemicals so you don't have to mess with it, and they'd repine your pump. If you decide that you want to do it, you're going to have to get yourself an actual submersible pump, all right? And I'm going to go into that in another video when it comes to draining and refilling your pool. But remember, like I said, there's only a few reasons you need to drain and refill your pool. Please watch my videos on that. And don't ever try to drain and refill or drain your pool using the skimmer or suction or any suction line on your pool that's existing in your pool, like your inline your vacuum. And don't use the backwash feature because it wasn't intended for that, okay? And you could risk severe damage to your pool equipment. Oh, one more quick comment about using the backwash feature to drain your pool. There is only one exception to that rule. Let's say you've had a substantial amount of rain and your pool has overfilled, okay? Meaning that your pool water is actually above the tile line to where your cool decking is, and it's overfilled. That can actually create a risk to your pool because if water seeps behind that, it can create a pressure on the other side and actually start damaging your pool itself. So in that case, it would be okay to backwash your pool for a certain amount of time just till the water level drops to the normal where it's supposed to be. And remember, the place that you want it is about halfway up the tile line towards the top of your pool, or if you want to think about where the skimmer opening is, halfway covering that opening is a good rule of thumb for how high you want your water level. So if your pool water, because of a lot of rain, torrential rain, filled up too high, then you absolutely could use the backwash feature to drain off some of that water till it gets it down to the proper and ideal level. But don't use the backwash feature of your pool to drain your pool completely. You risk severe damage to your equipment, and that's just not worth it. So folks, there you have it. That is my short video on how not to drain your pool. All right, there's a specific way to do it. I'll be doing a video on that in another time, and so stay tuned for that. Until then, I want to remind you to like this video if you do, subscribe to this subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, and also share this channel with your friends who are looking to save some money servicing their pool themselves as well. As always, if you have any comments or questions, you can post them in the comment section below this video, or you can email me directly, and of course my email address is going to come right across the bottom of the screen here. It's Kenny, poolschool@gmail.com. Once again, Kenny, poolschool@gmail.com. Remember, summer is coming. We're starting to heat up here in Arizona. People are taking advantage of it, which means it's time to be extra cautious. So as always, please remember, be safe, have fun, and always watch those kids and pets around water. And I will see you next time.